Hi, today I'm going to make an Ethernet splitter. So what is an Ethernet splitter and what is the purpose? Well, we start with a problem. The problem is that I already have one camera where I have spent a lot of time making a cable through my house to connect this camera. And I want one more camera right next to it, and I don't want to go through the entire process of again and dragging another cable. So of course the obvious solution is to use a switch, but there's actually a more economical and somewhat better solution. Because if you use a switch, then you need power to the switch. Of course, you can supply that with PoE power, but do you then have enough PoE power to your two new cameras? And the other problem is that then you have one more component that might fail. So what we can do is actually use the same cable to supply Ethernet connections to two cameras. And we do this because these cameras are only running 100 megabits. And when you're running 100 megabits, then actually only two pairs are used. And if they use PoE Mode A, then these two wires are also used to supply powers. This is a standard plug that included the two wires used to supply PoE Mode B power, where the power goes through the other two pairs. But it's not used, it's just because they use the same plug for everything. This camera uses PoE Mode A. So let's just look on a paper here to explain what I mean. So you have different standards, and in this case we are only looking at the 100 megabits, not the gigabit, because if you use gigabit connection, then all pairs are used for data, and then PoE power is supplied on top of that. So let's just look at the two modes it can run in. So there's PoE Mode B, where you use two of the pairs right here. Here, two of the pairs are used for data, and these two are used for power. You see DC plus and DC minus. If you use PoE Mode A, then the two other pairs are unused, and all of them are used for both data and power. So that means that the two unused pairs, we can use that for another camera. But of course, then we need to split the connection to two connections. And just to clarify, so everything understand it, it means that today I have a switch right here. I should probably have used a little smaller switch for demonstration. But and right now there's a cable running through to one of my cameras. And what we are going to do when we are done is that we will keep using this wire in the wall. In the wall there's a wire, and then we will split these into two connections right here and two connections right here in the other end. So each end has two connections, and then these two connections will go to two switch ports, and in the other end these two connections will go to two cameras. It's very important to understand that you need this in the switch end. You cannot just connect it directly to the switch and expect two cameras to be connected to the same switch port. Okay, so let's get started. So I already have two splitters here, and of course I could just use them. But the issue for me here with these two splitters is they're very bulky. So in my wiring closet, I would prefer to have it just as one cable, and in where the cameras are, I would prefer to have it as a small splitter that just takes the existing cable in here, split it out to the two cameras. So that is why I'm making this myself. I have some components I will reuse. This component here has a little history. This used to be one that converted a straight through cable to a crossover cable. And then I later made it to make it as PoE Mode B, as you saw before, but it's passive PoE Mode B, where I just inject the power into these two wires. And in the other end, I took the two wires here. Both of them went through two rectifiers, so it doesn't matter which polarity. And then a step-down converter, so it didn't matter how much power I supplied, then it will convert everything to 5 volts. But I don't need this project anymore, so I will reuse this because I think it's quite neat for this use case. And for the other end, I actually want to use this wire for my wiring closet. And this wire only has 2 of the 4 pairs, so that's 4 wires. And that one I will just cut in the middle, and then I can make such a converter. So let's see. Let's start with the easy one and see where it goes from there. So let's see if I can cut this one in half and make it into a slimmer version of the splitter. Because remember, in the wiring closet, if I had to use this one, then I had to use one wire to where my cabling went, and each of them to a switch port. And here I can just make a simpler solution. So let's get started. And of course you can buy these things, but the thing is that I need it now, and it's so easy to make. It's probably going to take me more time to upload this video when I'm done, and then it actually went into making this cable here. So I'll cut it in half, and then I need to remove the plastic, of course, and let's see how good I am at that. I think I will actually just make sure I have plenty of extra wire, because I don't want to do this too many times. And let's see. And the thing is, of course, whenever you cut such wires here, you shouldn't cut too much into it. But I see this is a kind of wire that don't want to break. Interesting. So I guess I have to cut a little more. Maybe I should have used a sharper knife. So that's always interesting. There we go. So without cutting into the wires, I managed to get it off here. Great. Because you can of course just cut deeper and then it will break through, but I would prefer not to do that, just to scorch it, as I remember it's called in English. Let's see. There we go. So now we have these two, and this is an odd color choice. Usually you would have green and orange, but doesn't matter. I can see, so I have to go back and check again. So we see it has orange and blue. Okay, in this weird case. So let's see if I can figure this one out. So one of the ends I want to make go straight through. By making it go straight through, then it will work even if you don't have a splitter in one of the ends. Well, then one of the connections will work. So we will have, I will check here to make it exactly the same as this one. It's a little hard to see, but I think I got it. So so that's interesting, because in this case the wire combination is non-standard. So I have made it exactly the same as over there. And actually I will do this one more time, and you're thinking, well, wait, they need to be different. Yes, but we are getting back to that. So so rather than using colors in this case, I will just use the order of the pins. And I just have to make sure that I do this right. Of course, I have the other one also to reference, yes, just to be sure. So what we have now is 1, 2, 3, and 6. And here I swap 1 and 2. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 6. That's what I have here. And here I also have 1, 2, 3, 6. But now we are going to interleave them. So we are going to have from the first one 1, 2, 3, and then from the other one 1, 2, and then from the first one 6, and then the rest from the second one here. Hope I said that correctly. So that's a little tricky part here, but I love it. This is, you know, anyone can eventually make a cable once they have failed enough times, but this is the more advanced level here, where I have interleaved the two connections here. Okay, great. And I have a little problem here with the cable curling, but let's see. Good. So let's see, can he make it? And did he bring all his tools? And I do a final double check here, which is a little hard for you to see, but I just double checked it while I was looking. So let's cut it straight. So this is just going to be in my wiring closet. So it's okay if if it's a little loose here, because usually I would make sure that this part was squeezed together when I squeeze it, but for this case it's okay, because nobody is going to jump around in it here. And I have to check here. Don't know if you pick it up on the camera, but of course it's very important that all the connection is going up there, and it's a little hard for me to check. I think in this case we are just going to hope it's okay, and actually I seems like to be able to push it enough into everything, so that's great. I have to make this. I will just zoom a little out because I'm not looking at the camera while I'm doing this, so I'm not checking if everything is in focus. And let's see. One of the connections might not be connected here, but I'm going to give it a try. And otherwise I will just redo it. But now we have two connections in here, and actually I managed to push it enough into. But let's see if I did this correctly, or if I made a mistake. So let's see, do I have enough cables I didn't destroy? Yes. So what do we expect here? Oh, now I also remember I forgot one thing. Ah, great. I had a plan to put the headers on here so you could see which one was which. But let's see. If it's broken, then I will give it another go, and then I will put these headers on. But let's see. Let's see how it goes. One. Okay. It seems like it's completely wrong. Let's see. 1 goes to 2. 6. Yeah, that seems wrong. Let's see. I check the other one. But what I will, you saw the principle here, and what I will do now is just off camera make it correct, and then I will go back to it. So what we would expect was to get 1, 2, 3 connected, and well, I made some mix up here. But I will get back. Okay, now we're back, and you can't really make these cameras live on while you record it, because you really need to check everything. And my mistakes, first I thought that maybe I just swapped it around the connection, but actually it's all of them that are shifted. So I managed to bunch 2 wires into the same pin and then shifted all of them into the wrong way. So that was the issue. So I have fixed that, and I have also put on the caps here. So hopefully now we have a good one. I see I swapped the cap around, but hopefully I can just twist it in place. Yes. So let's see. Well, I'll fix that later. But let's connect it. So let's see which one. So what we expect to see here is that 1, 2, 3, and 6 go straight through, and it does. But let's check the other one, and I have not checked this in advance, so let's see. So right now we know that the yellow is pair 1. So let's see. 6 goes through, and let's see if 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So we have a working cable here. That's great. Now I just have to remember that the yellow one is the straight through, the pin 1. So let's make the other one and see how it goes, especially if I can find it. There we have it. So also while I was off camera, I just cut them off, and that was actually because I wanted to use the gray cap here. So what we want, and let's just remember where the caps go. So the yellow cap should go here, and let's see if I have everything there. We also have the one I cut off, and the reason why it's good to have the one that's cut off, that's because then I know the color combination of the one that's straight through. And if we see it's actually swapped compared to the usual standard. The usual standard, you would have the orange at the pin 1 and 2, or instead of calling it the usual standard. In the standard T 568B color standard, you need the pin 1 to be orange, but this one is wired through as the A standard, where the green one is pin 1. Okay, good. Then I need to wire the green one as pin 1, but that's probably because this one was a crossover cable, and a crossover cable, what you do is exactly swapping these 2 colors. So that's also why you have 2 different color schemes. It depends on which end of the cable you have, in case you make a crossover cable. Okay, and let's hope that's correct. So let's first make that and see if it works. So where's my plugs? There's one more plug, and we have remembered the cap now, and because it's the one that's straight through, then it's the yellow one in my scheme here. So let's just untwist that one. And actually, while we at it, I wanted to make it as just protect it a little more against the weather. So let's see what we have. We have one of these, and we have one of these, but this one is too small. But I can't. Either I have to have 2 yellows or not. No. So let's see. We can go with a black color scheme. Should it just be black? I can also have blue and other colors, but I think let's just do black here. And but is it then long enough? That's the good question. Let's see. Well, if this one goes here, well, we need to cut a little off, maybe just a little. Okay, good. The important thing is, I already forgot it. The important thing is to remember to have the cap on and the insulation, and let's get started. And this one was reverse, or let's go there. Let's see, and let's hope it's correct, because maybe it was still a crossover cable. That would be weird, but maybe. And as always, put it down here, because then this one is pin 1. Good. And now I have to hit right, or do it right. Let's see if it goes right. I have to hit pin 6. How on earth I'm going to hit pin 6? Maybe I need some stand-in wires. If I take this, we take one wire here and one wire here. And let's take this one, it's longer. There. It's just a placeholder, so the wire goes to the right position. There we go. Yeah, I have 2 wires here. Maybe they can be removed afterwards. Let's see. Ah, that goes great. That went great. It went like hell. Or maybe I should just wing it and see if I can do it right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, this one. Okay. Oh, is it right? Is it right? Yeah. And we have 2 in between there. And we have the same one as this. Great. Let's see if it went well, or I have to do it again. Otherwise, we just do it again. And just double, triple check here that everything looks right before we crimp it. Yes. And while I'm crimping it, I'm pushing in. I'm pushing in while I crimp it. There we go. And then let's measure it and see if it went well or if I made a mistake. So, or maybe I made no mistakes, but it was just not what I expected. Let's see if we have a... So if I did it wrong now, then 1 and 2 will be 3 and 6. And 3 and 6 will be 1 and 2. Let's see. No, it looks right. 1, 2, 3, and 6. Great. So let's do the other one. And that's also an interesting one because of the color combinations. So let's first remember to get this cap on here, or cap on insulation, and this. There we go. And let's get our paper back here. So this one is the same regardless of which standard we have, and we're just moving them up and moving them up. I measured that before to make sure, so I did that off camera. So we will just move them up. So that means that pin 4 and 5 will just be moved to pin 1 and 2, and pin 7 and 8 will be moved to pin 3 and 6. And there's no official standard for this, but I just made sure it was the same as I had on these splitters, so I later can mix them if I want to do so. But let's get the blue. And so I need the blue solid, and then blue striped, and then I need brown striped and brown solid, and then of course some space between them. But so they become pin 1, 2, 3, 6. And you might wonder, why the hell is the standard made this way? You might wonder. This seems very weird that you put it like this. And since you are still here in the video, I will just tell you. So the blue pair was used for telephone. The middle pair was used for telephone first. Then it was changed to that you included these 2 pairs if you have a head, if you have the thing you hold on, I don't know the English word, you hold on an analog telephone to speak in, then the 2 other pairs are used either for the microphone or the speaker. I don't know which one is which. So you see 1 pair, 2 pairs, and everything went great for now. But then they wanted to put more pairs into the standard, and you might think, okay, just include doing like this, but they didn't, because then there's too much distance between the pairs and then you introduce noise. So that's why they're there and there. And so the thing is, the middle one, it was used for telephone, and the two other one was used for Ethernet, where this one was spare. And that's why the standard is so weird, because you would think either it would go from the middle and out, or it would have been pairs. But that's history for you. Okay, let's get back and make this last one, see if it went well. So, I always double check, because, well, I obviously didn't do it the first time, so now I have to double check. And let's see, I have to look at the other one with the distance and everything. Let's do it like that. And let's see, zoom, if I can do it right. It's a little hard. So what I do is keep it flat. So I actually hold here, because then I have some control of it, and put it in. Then I have to align it at the correct pin, which I did now, especially if I show it on the camera. And there we see here, right? So now it's right in place. I double check my wiring order. In this case, solid blue, white, brown, and brown. And the brown has to be in pin 6. So that's great. We push it in. Okay. Then I take my tool and I push while I squeeze. There we go. And we can see here, it was close to perfect. Good, good. And then of course we have to measure it and see if everything is okay. So in this case we would take, it was the green one. And as I remember, I actually cannot measure this with this tool. It's a funny thing. So I have to make a little compromise. Let's see. Well, actually, we could use it together with this one. That would be great. Let's see. So let's see if we have green to green. If all the wires go through, and by all I mean the two pairs, 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 6. I mean, yeah, and that's also what it says here. 1, 2, 3, 6. So that's the whole idea. That the cameras do not know that the two cameras go through the same wire. They both of them thinks that they have a pair, 2, 1 pair, and 3, 6 pair. And that's basically it. I will, of course, off-camera heat shrink these and just connect everything tightly. And that's it. Let's just have a final look at it before I install it. So I heat shrank it. And that's it. So I will show you when it's installed.